What is your Tinder horror story? So I met this girl on Tinder and went for a lunch date. We had a pretty good connection, so we decided to have dinner as well. After having a few drinks, one thing led to another and ended up back at my place. We hooked up and went to sleep. Middle of the night I wake up. She's intensely staring at me while she's crouched behind the bed. I asked her if everything is alright. She said yes and got back into bed. I thought little creepy, but probably nothing to worry about. She lays down to cuddle with me and she's wet. At the time, I was like, damn, I must just be a stallion. Fast forward to the morning, she's gone and there's a wet puddle beside the bed. She peed on my floor. I still don't understand it. I had a bathroom, but maybe she just got lost and couldn't hold it. I did not hear from her again. Sleepwalking? This exact thing happened to me once. It was a girl I had been dating for a while. We had a good amount to drink that night. I saw the whole thing happen because she woke me up getting out of bed. She just leaned forward on the bed and let fly. I got her back into bed and cleaned up before going back to sleep myself, and she remembered none of it the next morning. Over the next couple of years I saw her sleepwalk a handful of times. Luckily no other episode required cleaning up bodily fluids. Oh my god, I had a friend do something like that when she and another friend came to my new place in Seattle and we went out for drinks. I got tired so I went home and they got back much later. I got up during the night and both were passed out on the bathroom floor, one around the toilet and the other next to my roommate's cat's litter box. When I woke up, my roommate told me my friend pooped and peed in the kitchen during the night. My friend had literally peed in the recycling box and pinched a loaf right next to it. I cleaned up the pee, but I insisted she clean up the turd, lol. She had no knowledge of doing it, because she drunk sleepwalked. Talked to him for 2 weeks before we went out and no red flags, so we ended up going out to dinner. I said I hadn't been out in a while, because I was trying to save money for a washer and dryer. He told me, instead of saving for that I should save for a boob job. I didn't even know how to reply, so he followed up with, no, it's not a bad thing. My sister and mum both had small tits and got boob jobs and they look amazing. This is all before the waitress even brought our drinks. I just got up and left. Maybe he should just go sleep with his mother and sister then. Maybe he already did. First date. She wanted me to get into a bar fight with the perfectly friendly guy who'd bought us a round of shots that night. Why? Because she found out he was a Scorpio. Astrology chicks are crazy. Fresh off a breakup on campus. Match with this really good looking girl who is talking pure filth. Obviously I'm just an idiot with a hurt heart, so I don't question much. Head over to her place a few days later. She insisted I come over on a certain day at XX o'clock. Usually I would have been sketched out, but it was the middle of the day on a B1G10 campus. What exactly could go that south? Half hour and her husband came home. I was being used in revenge plot. No more Tinder. I'd like to hear the rest of the story. What was she seeking revenge for? What did he do when he saw you? 3 of them played Uno together. No. This guy asked me if I would be interested in dating his dad. Pretty sure that guy was a catfish of said dad pretending to be guy. Probably. The message he sent me was so weird. Don't leave us hanging. What was the message? This was a few years ago, so my memory is a little fuzzy. Something along the lines of, hey, my dad looked over my shoulder when I was checking out your profile. He wanted me to tell you that he thinks you're really cute. He's been really lonely lately. Would you be interested in going out with him? He's in his 50s. Here's a pic of him. Definitely was the dad. Met up with a Tinder girl at Dave & Buster's. She brought me there for a freaking pyramid scheme sign up presentation. Guess I respect the hustle. Ugh. Happened to me in college, but this was in the early 90s, so no Tinder obviously. Met this attractive girl on campus. We had coffee, then a lunch. Nothing ever physical, but she seemed into me. One day she calls me, asks me to come by her office. I'm thinking weird, but okay. I go. She meets me and she brings me in this room, and there's about 10 other guys around my age all sitting around this conference table. We're all looking at each other with these what the frick expressions on our face. Then the girl comes back in with her boss and the sales pitch started. I'm just loving the scene of a room full of guys all slowly coming to the realization that they've been honeypotted to a pyramid scheme presentation. This actually wasn't all that uncommon back in the 90s. MLMs were scum then too. This one made me laugh. You'll just get up and leave, or... Well, I've only gone on one Tinder date. We talked for a bit and I agreed to pick her up at Starbucks. She looked nothing like her pictures, but I thought I should be nice and at least hang out with her for a bit. We went to her place and the entire house reeked like cat pee. Like saturated. Then as she proceeded to show me her massive collection of animal tail butt plugs, she screamed at her chihuahua and smacked it right on the nose and without missing a beat just asks if I want to make out on the couch. I awkwardly sat down and pretended to look at my phone and made up that my grandma was dying so I could get the frick out. One of the many reasons I'm sad my Mimo passed away. Oh my god, my grandma died. Sorry, I need to go. Easy. Voice. And if she calls me on it later, I can honestly say, I didn't say she just died. I see this a lot, that they look nothing like their pictures, but I should be nice and not run off thing. But that's already a pretty big lie right up front. It reminds me of that video that went viral a bit back where someone wore a fat suit on dates they got from dating sites. Anyone that left was an a-hole somehow. I would turn and leave right then and there. That's already a big sign they're not on the level. Yeah, I've learned to dip every time that happens. You can't always tell either, because sometimes people just use old pictures rather than deceptive angles. Saying you know what, I actually changed my mind. Bye is the best thing to do. Matched with my BFF's fiance after the engagement party. Screenshots of everything and lost my BFF. Because I don't play that. I was uninvited to the wedding. Marriage lasted 18 months. If I'm reading this correctly, you were uninvited to the wedding because you were a good friend and showed them that their fiance was on a hookup dating site. He thought that I would embarrass him at the wedding. It is possible, because he was stupid enough to not only match with his fiance's best friend, but also, once I told him off for it, he still wanted to hook up, and he was running for public office. Shocking. I know. She just wanted a baby and culturally had to be married when popping one out. So your friend didn't know? Why did your best friend agree to uninvite you? She did know. She wanted a baby. He was her opportunity to have the baby she was desperate for. She would do whatever he wanted. This just boggles me, because you have to be dumb enough to match someone that you know. My worst Tinder experience was pretty traumatizing for me at the time. I was a sophomore in college and she was a junior or senior at the same school. The first time we ever hung out, I went over to her apartment and we just watched some Netflix and hung out. Nothing crazy. I was thinking this chick is super cool, we may have something here. So I'll leave telling her I'd like to see her again if she's down. She told me she would love to and just hit her up whenever and we'll make some plans. We start texting, Snapchatting throughout the week and organize some plans for the following weekend. Out of nowhere, she starts sending me unsolicited nudes. Never once asked for them, and when we were hanging out the weekend prior, there was no sexual activity at any level. We quite literally Netflix and chilled. It caught me off guard, but I was more than cool with it. I'm a young college guy and this hot older chick wants to send me nudes after only hanging out one time? Say less. Fast forward to the weekend. She comes to my apartment and we're hanging out with my roommates watching something on TV. She asks me if she can stay the night, and after sending nudes to me all week, I kind of figured what was up. So in my head I'm like, frick yes. But I tell her of course, and to be polite I offer to sleep on the couch, because we've only known each other for all of about 2 weeks and have only seen each other in person one time prior. She tells me she'd rather me sleep in my bed with her, so I know it's on. We get to Netflix and chilling in my room and I make a move. We start to hook up and eventually wind up having sex. I wore a condom and finished inside of it and tossed it off to my side of the bed. As we're laying there after a few minutes, she gets up abruptly, comes around to my side of the bed and grabs the condom off the floor and runs into the bathroom. I'm a little confused, maybe a little concerned, but kind of brush it off. As I'm laying there in my bed I hear a loud crash in my bathroom. She yells frick. I ask if she's okay and get no response. I'm a little concerned thinking this girl just fell in my bathroom and cracked her head open or something. I go to open the door and she is standing in my shower with one leg propped up trying to shove the condom up her vagina after she flipped it inside out. I freak out. No clue what to do. She's clearly freaked out and probably embarrassed. I have no clue. I shut the door and she immediately comes back out, says she's gonna leave and I say sounds good. I never hear from her again. That would freak me out 4 months. About 9 or so yet. No, what if she ran and froze it immediately? That's a lifetime of fear, man. A lifetime. We don't have the whole story yet. Got that right, man, that's the fear of any man. She was doing the classic retrieve and conceive.